So as crazy as that is, what the things that like my generation has seen and grown up with and the changes that we have witnessed. But to me, what is more extreme or crazy or mind-blowing is the person that was born in like 1911 and 1912 in that time frame, and that they lived well into their 90s, the things they saw. I'm talking about like my grandparents or my ex's great aunt who was born in 1911. And when she was born, they had no indoor plumbing, they had no electricity, no car, no phone, no radio, no TV. Then that goes with the no electricity. So in her time as growing up, she lived through this evolution of technology and societal change, and she lived and she died where she was raised. And she left for a number of years, and when she retired, she moved back. So and she even got to see the way the area developed. So she remembers her siblings being born at the homestead and farming and run around barefoot. And she remembers the first car in the community and how she was driving before a driver's license. And she remembers when they finally got electricity and indoor plumbing and how great that was and how they felt that they were really moving up in the world, right? That they were really climbing out of that poverty. And she talks about remembering, or she used to, she passed away a few years ago, but she remembered how crazy it was, the first radio they had in the house, and they heard this voice of somebody that they never knew, couldn't see, but talking to them out of this box, right? And then the evolution into the TV in the black and white, and then into color, and watching how the cars progress from having to hand crank the front to just turning the key and going. And she would talk about how baffling it was to see people actually pay to fly on a plane, go across country, and not ride the train, or just watch them do stunts as a novelty thing. And then watching the space program on TV, all the whole Apollo, every one of them, how they'd watch them, and the moon landing. And she lived through a presidential assassination, and the 2 world wars in Korea and Vietnam and Grenada and Panama and Desert Storm, Desert Shield, and we were into OIF and OEF before she passed. And she saw the internet come in home personal computers. And she couldn't understand how that worked. She thought all the information was inside the computer already. She didn't understand that it was the phone line. And as far as phones go, she remembers when we went from a party line with a little hand crank on the front of the phone box to the rotary phone, to the touchpad phone, to the cordless phone, to the cell phone, to even seeing us on smartphones. Can you imagine what it was like for that generation to go from dirt floors and no electric, no plumbing, to seeing us carrying a phone in our pocket that we can do everything with? Yeah, pretty amazing. So I would say for them to witness that evolution, that growth, it definitely rivals and probably surpasses what we've seen.